Mark Carson sat alone in his one-bedroom apartment, surrounded by unopened bills and a half-eaten microwave dinner. He had just lost his third job in 18 months. His bank account was nearly empty. His confidence? Even lower. He stared at the ceiling and whispered, "What is wrong with me?" Mark wasn't lazy. He wasn't dumb. He'd read dozens of self-help books, tried vision boards, and even attempted daily affirmations. Still, nothing seemed to change. Life felt like a constant uphill battle, and deep down, Mark believed that maybe he just wasn't meant to succeed. But what Mark didn't realize, what most people never realize, is that success doesn't begin with your actions. It begins with your thoughts. And his thoughts were silently sabotaging him every single day. The real root of your struggles: you are not failing because you're lazy. You are not stuck because you lack talent. You are where you are because your mind is wired against your own success. Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, taught us something powerful. You become what you think about. It sounds simple. Too simple, maybe. But this single idea is the foundation of every success story the world has ever seen. The truth is, most people walk around with their minds full of worry, doubt, fear, and frustration. They think about what's missing, what's not working, and what could go wrong, and then they wonder why their life reflects exactly that. The invisible force behind every result. Let's go back to Mark. He thought he was trying hard. He was applying to jobs, updating his resume, even networking a little online. But behind the scenes, Mark's mind was whispering thoughts like, "You're not good enough. Nobody wants someone like you. Why bother trying? It never works." Those thoughts didn't come out loud. They weren't shouted. They were quiet, subtle, repeating like a song stuck in the background of his mind. And that's exactly how they destroyed his progress. Because thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs shape behavior. Behavior creates habits. And habits shape your destiny. You may think you're living on autopilot, but in truth, your autopilot was programmed by the thoughts you allowed yesterday. The garden in your mind. Imagine your mind is a garden. Every thought you think is a seed. If you constantly plant seeds of doubt, fear, anger, and self-pity, what do you think will grow? Weeds, thorns, chaos. But if you plant seeds of confidence, purpose, gratitude, and vision, you grow a garden filled with strength, peace, and progress. Most people don't even realize they're planting weeds. They watch the news, scroll social media, replay their failures, argue with people in their heads, and then they're surprised when life feels heavy and negative. Napoleon Hill said it clearly. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. So what are you becoming? Time to take control. This isn't about toxic positivity. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing your thoughts like you choose your clothes. You wouldn't walk outside wearing clothes picked out by a stranger. So why walk into your day letting random thoughts control your mind? Start with this question. Do my thoughts serve my goals? If the answer is no, it's time to change them. Begin with intentional thinking. Pick one powerful thought each morning. One sentence that feels strong and right. Something like, "I am capable. I create my reality. Every day I grow stronger." Say it. Write it. Feel it. Repeat it. This is not wishful thinking, it's rewiring. You are the sculptor. Picture a sculptor standing in front of a block of stone. He has a vision in his mind, a masterpiece. Every tap of the chisel brings that vision to life. You are that sculptor. Your mind is the stone. Your thoughts are the chisel. Every time you think a thought, you're shaping who you are becoming. So, the question is, are you sculpting a masterpiece? Or a mess? Imagine waking up each morning with clarity, knowing exactly where you're going and who you're becoming. Imagine setbacks no longer stopping you, but teaching you. Imagine your thoughts lifting you higher instead of pulling you down. That is what happens when you take control of your inner world. The turning point. Let's go back to Mark. One last time. One night, something shifted. He stumbled on an old quote from Napoleon Hill. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That line hit different. It wasn't just a quote. It was a wake-up call. Mark didn't need a new job. He didn't need a perfect plan. He needed a new way of thinking. So he began to do the work. Each morning, he wrote down one powerful thought. He stopped repeating negative stories. He created a vision for his life, not just what he wanted, but who he needed to become. 6 months later, he had a new job. A better job. 12 months later, he had launched a small business on the side. But more than the results, he had something even more powerful: belief. Closing words. Your first step: you are not your past. You are not your circumstances. You are not your doubts. You are the author of your story. And it all begins with your thoughts. So today, take the first step. Think with purpose. Speak with power. Choose your thoughts like your future depends on it. Because it does. Because the moment you take control of your mind, you begin to take control of your life. End of Part 1. Part 2 Preview. Discover the secret of purpose. Why most people drift, and how one bold decision can give your life unstoppable direction. Would you like me to proceed with Part 2 now, or revise anything in Part 1? Part 2. Build the life you want, one choice at a time, from the series Think It, Live It, The Napoleon Hill Way. Hook. The story of Emma Walters. Emma Walters was once like most people. She had big dreams, a business she wanted to launch, a healthier body she wished for, and a deeper purpose she quietly longed to live. But her days told a different story. She hit snooze 3 times before dragging herself out of bed. Her mornings were rushed, her evenings numbed with scrolling or streaming. The hours in between were filled with good intentions, intentions that never turned into action. She kept saying, "One day I'll get serious." But one day never came, until a moment arrived that changed everything. She looked in the mirror one quiet morning and whispered something most people never dare to say out loud. "It's not my circumstances. It's my choices." Your habits are the real blueprint. If you say you want to change your life, don't look to luck. Don't wait for inspiration. Look to your habits. Look to how you spend your mornings, your evenings, your idle moments. That's where your future is being built, brick by brick. Napoleon Hill once said, "You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be." But that power doesn't show up in grand moments. It shows up in small, invisible decisions. What you do first when you wake up, how you handle frustration, what you choose to do when no one's watching. The space between the life you dream of and the life you're living, it's filled with choices. And those choices are shaped by discipline. Discipline is the door to freedom. Discipline isn't punishment. It's the door to freedom. You want more freedom, of time, money, energy. It won't come from shortcuts. It comes from structure, from self-respect. Picture a day built on purpose. The morning opens in silence, with vision and gratitude. The midday hours hum with movement, tasks done, goals attacked. The evening closes in reflection, lessons learned, direction refined. And no time wasted. No motion meaningless. What would your life become if each day followed that rhythm? One weakness traded for one strength. One distraction replaced by one deep focus. One bad habit exchanged for one empowering one. You already know what needs to be done. It's not about knowledge anymore. It's about resolve. Will you do it, even when no one is watching? Will you keep showing up, when results are slow and applause is silent? Discipline asks for effort today, so you can live free tomorrow. Regret or growth? Your choice. Regret and discipline are both hard. But regret looks back with sorrow. Discipline looks forward with hope. One builds your future. The other will haunt your past. So what will you choose? Because whether you realize it or not, you're building something. With your routines, with your choices, with your consistency, you are building the story of your life. Let it be a story that's worth telling. Persistence, the power to outlast. Now let's talk about what happens when life punches back. When you're tired, discouraged, when the mountain looks too steep to climb. That's where most people quit. But that's where you must rise. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting." Greatness doesn't lie in avoiding failure. It's not found in an easy, pain-free life. Greatness is built in the quiet decision to keep going when it hurts. To rise when you fall. To believe when no one else does. Obstacles? They're not the enemy. They are the path. They shape you, test you, refine you. You don't need to be the fastest or the smartest. You just need to keep going. The climb, one step at a time. Imagine climbing a mountain. The air grows thin, your legs ache, your doubts scream. But higher up, the view waits. The summit calls. Every step feels heavy, but every step moves you forward. You could stop. You could turn back. But what if you didn't? What if you kept going and made it? That moment of triumph, that deep, quiet knowing that you did not give up, that's a power no shortcut can give you. The reward isn't just the summit, it's who you become along the way. Don't wait to feel ready. Too many people wait for the perfect time. They wait to feel confident. But here's the truth: action doesn't follow confidence. Confidence follows action. You don't lift the weight because you're strong. You lift it to become strong. You don't act because you're ready. You act, and then you become ready. Hill reminded us. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. Perfection is a lie. It's an excuse wrapped in comfort. The world moves fast. And while you're waiting, others are building, moving, living your dream. It's not about knowing every step. It's about taking the next step. Even if it's shaky. Even if you're scared. Closing words, the turning point. Let's go back to Emma. She didn't change her life overnight. She started by changing one habit. She gave her mornings back to herself. No more scrolling, no more rushing. She wrote her vision. Set one clear intention each day. And most importantly, she kept going, even when she didn't feel like it. 6 months later, she had lost 40 pounds. Started her dream side hustle. Rebuilt her confidence. Not because she was special, but because she stopped waiting and started building. And you can too. Call to action. You're not stuck. You're being called higher. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Start with one bold action. Build the life you want. One choice, one habit, one morning at a time. Because in the end, it's not about what you say you want. It's about what you choose each day. End of Part 2. Part 3 Preview. Discover how to use vision, belief, and identity to become unstoppable before the world even notices you're coming. Would you like me to continue with Part 3 in the same style now? Part 3. The fire begins with a decision, from the series Think It, Live It, the Napoleon Hill Way. Look, the story of Marcus Hall. Marcus Hall stood at a quiet crossroads in his life. He was 38, recently laid off, bills stacking higher than his confidence. Each morning, he stared at the ceiling with a sinking weight in his chest, wondering how he got so stuck. His dreams had faded into background noise, soft, barely audible anymore. But one Thursday morning, everything shifted. He was sitting alone in a diner, half stirring a cup of cold coffee when he overheard a man behind him say, "You either build your future, or you keep watching others live theirs." That sentence hit him like a lightning bolt. Marcus didn't finish his coffee. He walked out, sat in his car, and for the first time in a long time, he didn't just wish. He decided. Start before you're ready. Suppose you spoke before self-doubt silenced you. Suppose you acted before hesitation took root. Suppose you started right here, right now, with what you had, exactly where you were. Wouldn't you be further than the person still sitting back, still perfecting their plan? That's what Marcus realized. For years, he had read books, watched seminars, made lists, but never moved. He was planning to start, but forgot to start. Here's the truth: preparation is wise, but overplanning becomes a trap. You can collect strategies. You can draw 10 different blueprints, but none of them will bring you growth until your feet hit the ground. Growth doesn't come from thought alone. It comes from movement. The power of that first step. Real progress begins when your desire to act becomes louder than your fear of failing. There is a quiet courage in starting, a rare strength in showing up when no one is clapping. And most people never do. But here's the secret no one talks about. Once you start, readiness begins to chase you, not the other way around. Strength doesn't wait for you at the starting line. Clarity doesn't arrive until you move. Confidence grows after you show up scared. Start, even with trembling hands. Start, even if your voice shakes. Because your very first act of courage will change you. Are you standing still? Now ask yourself something honest. Are you moving forward or just standing still? Are you preparing or hiding behind preparation? Because life rewards one thing: momentum, not potential. The people who go the farthest aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who start, stumble, learn, and keep going. So stop waiting for the right time. The right time is the moment you choose to begin. Service, the secret door to success. Now let's shift. Let's talk about one of Napoleon Hill's most overlooked principles: service. Render more service than that for which you are paid, Hill taught, and you will soon be paid more than you render. This is the real secret to wealth, purpose, and power. Those who give more than they take never stay poor. Because the universe has a law that echoes through every success story. When you serve, you rise. Not because someone owes you. Not because you expect something. But because value attracts reward. The candle that lights another, think of a candle that lights another. It loses nothing, and the room becomes brighter. When you give your time, your effort, your wisdom, you don't shrink. You expand. The most powerful currency in life isn't money. It's usefulness. Be someone who matters. Someone who makes things better. Ask every day, how can I serve? How can I help? What need can I meet? It could be small. A kind word. An extra effort. A thoughtful gesture. But consistently offering value turns you into someone people trust, someone people seek, someone success follows. Serve without keeping score. Serve not for applause, but for alignment. Not to be thanked, but because that's who you choose to be. The world is noisy with people trying to get, but the ones who give without keeping score, they attract more than money. They attract loyalty, opportunity, and respect. So whether it's your career, your relationships, or your business, lead with service. Success becomes the byproduct, not the pursuit. Failure, the friend in disguise. Let's talk now about your greatest fear. Failure. You've stumbled. We all have. You've made mistakes. You've heard no, felt ashamed, maybe even humiliated. But failure is not your identity. It's not the end of the road. It's the curve that teaches you to steer. Failure is a chapter, not your whole story. It's the universe's way of saying, not this way. Try again. Every person who built something legendary failed. Not once. Not twice. Many times. But they got back up. They tried again, and they used the pain as fuel. Fall 7 times, stand 8, you will fail. But you must rise. And each time you rise, you are not starting over. You're starting wiser. Picture it. You build a dream. You fall. It breaks. You cry, you hurt, but you learn. You adjust. And you build again, this time better, then again. And again. And one day, you realize the thing you feared most, failure, was actually your greatest teacher. You are not defined by the fall. You are defined by the rise. It all begins with a decision. Now, let's come full circle. None of this matters. Service, action, persistence, until you decide. A real decision, Napoleon Hill wrote, is backed by action. Not a wish. Not a someday. A decision so solid that everything after it aligns. That's what Marcus made that morning. He decided. No more waiting. No more drifting. This is my time. And something in the world responded. Doors started to open. Opportunities showed up. Not magically, but because he was finally moving. What will you decide today? So what about you? What have you been delaying? What dream have you placed on a shelf marked later? Later is a myth. Only now is real. Make a decision, not when it's easy, not when it's perfect, but today. And once you decide, everything will start to move, not all at once, but step by step. Momentum will find you. People will notice. Your world will begin to shift, because you have shifted. And it all starts with one moment. This moment. The moment you decide. End of Part 3. Part 4 Preview. Discover the power of vision, environment, and belief systems, and how to reshape your identity for extraordinary growth. Let me know if you'd like to continue with Part 4, or need this in script format for voiceover/video production. Part 4. The vision that shapes you, from the series Think It, Live It, The Napoleon Hill Way. Book. The story of Lila Monroe. Lila Monroe was a single mother of 2, working long hours as a cashier in a grocery store. Life had become a cycle: wake, work, survive, repeat. She wasn't lazy. She wasn't ungrateful. But every night, after her kids were asleep, she'd lie in bed staring at the ceiling and wonder, is this it? Is this what I was made for? Then one night, something shifted. She read these words by Napoleon Hill. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. For the first time in years, Lila allowed herself to imagine again, not just survive. She wrote a new vision on a notepad. It was wild. It was scary. But it felt true. She read it every morning. And within 2 years, Lila was running her own online business from home. She was still tired, still working, but this time, she was building something that belonged to her. It all began with a vision. Your inner picture determines your outer path. Let's talk about vision, not the eyesight kind, but the internal image you carry of your future. Everything in your life, your actions, choices, habits, flows from that mental picture. Whether you know it or not, you already have one. The question is, does it serve you or limit you? Because here's the truth. Your mind cannot go where your imagination hasn't already been. Napoleon Hill taught this power over and over again. He called it definiteness of purpose, a clear mental picture of what you desire. Not vague. Not a maybe someday. But bold. Specific. Alive. The law of mental blueprinting. Before a building is ever constructed, what exists first? A blueprint. An architect's vision. Lines on a page that guide every beam, every bolt, every brick. Your life works the same way. No vision equals no direction. No direction equals wasted time, scattered effort, and frustration. But when your mind holds a vision, even if it's just scribbled on a notepad like Lila's, your actions start to align. Your days begin to organize themselves around that vision, like iron filings around a magnet. This isn't magic. It's mental alignment. It's what Hill called the law of concentration. Are you leading or drifting? Most people are not living, they're drifting. They respond to life. They react. They cope. But they don't lead. Why? Because they've never stopped long enough to decide what they really want. They've never created a clear, dominant vision, so life just hands them whatever is left. But you can change that. Right now. Write it. Speak it. Picture it. Let your vision become louder than your doubts. Your environment is programming you. Now let's talk about something most people overlook. Environment. Your environment is not neutral. It's either building your vision or breaking it down. Every sound, every sight, every voice around you. It's shaping your mindset. If your environment is cluttered, negative, filled with distractions, you'll drift. But if your environment is intentional, focused, and uplifting, you'll grow. Look around your space. Are your goals visible? Are your books, your habits, your tools helping or hurting your mission? Do the people you spend time with speak life into your vision or drain it away? Napoleon Hill said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Choose wisely. Environment is silent, but powerful. Upgrade your identity. But here's the deeper piece. Even more powerful than your environment is your identity. The way you see yourself will determine how far you go. Do you see yourself as someone who always struggles? Someone who can't stick to anything? Someone who's trying, but deep down doesn't believe it will work? That story has to die. Because your identity is not set in stone. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build. If you want to change your life, you must first upgrade the story you tell about who you are. The story you repeat becomes the life you live. Say it with me. I am capable. I am consistent. I finish where I start. I am becoming the person I was born to be. These are not just words. They are code for the mind. Your brain is listening to the sentences you repeat. Say them often enough, and they become reality. Napoleon Hill said, "Autosuggestion is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed his subconscious mind with thoughts of a creative nature." That means you are always programming yourself. The only question is, are you doing it on purpose? Live into the vision. You don't get what you want. You get what you expect. And expectations are shaped by vision plus identity. So stop waiting to believe in yourself after you see results. Start now. Speak like the person you want to become. Act like them. Live like them, even in small ways, every single day. You don't become successful and then believe in yourself. You believe first. Then success shows up. Daily vision practice. 5 minutes that changes everything. Here's a simple daily exercise. Do this for 30 days. 1. Sit quietly each morning for 5 minutes. 2. Picture your ideal life in crystal clear detail. Your work, your energy, your environment. 3. Speak your new identity aloud. I am focused. I am a finisher. I am building something meaningful. 4. Write down your top goal. Read it again before bed. That's it.do this, and your brain will begin reshaping your behavior automatically. Because once the mind is convinced, the body follows. Final word, you are not stuck. You are unclear. If you feel stuck, hear this. You are not stuck. You are just unclear. Clarity is power. Vision gives direction. And once you know where you're going, everything changes. So today, don't just survive. Don't just get through another week. Define your vision. Shape your environment. Speak your new identity. Because your future is not something you wait for. It's something you design. With courage, with focus, and with relentless belief. End of Part 4. Part 5 Preview. Learn how to master the invisible forces of focus, attention, and time, the true currency of high achievers. Part 5. Focus is your superpower, from the series Think It, Live It, the Napoleon Hill Way. Look, the story of Marcus Bell. Marcus Bell used to be everywhere, but getting nowhere. He had dreams. Big ones. A list of business ideas, 5 side hustles, a vision board full of goals. But every week ended the same way, exhausted, scattered, disappointed. One day, while listening to a rare recording of Napoleon Hill, Marcus heard these words. Concentration of effort is the beginning of all successful achievement. It hit him like a thunderclap. That night, Marcus took every scattered goal, every unfinished project, every shiny distraction, and did the unthinkable. He chose one. And for the first time in years, he finished something. 6 months later, that one decision turned into a profitable business. Not because he worked harder, but because he finally focused. Most people fail because of scattered attention. Here's the brutal truth. Distraction is more dangerous than failure. Why? Because failure at least teaches. But distraction steals your future quietly, without even leaving a scar. Most people aren't defeated by circumstances. They're defeated by divided focus. They dabble. They start and stop. They chase 10 goals but never finish one. They multitask themselves into mediocrity. Napoleon Hill said, "Success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis." If you're not where you want to be, don't blame time, talent, or tools. Look at your focus. Focus is a muscle. Build it daily. Focus isn't something you're born with. It's not a personality trait. It's a skill. A muscle. And like any muscle, it grows through resistance. Right now, the world is at war for your attention. Notifications, ads, opinions, endless noise. If you don't guard your focus like your life depends on it, it will vanish. And with it, your potential. Want to master your day? Start by mastering your attention. Single task. Single target. Single victory. Multitasking is a myth. Science confirms what Napoleon Hill taught us a century ago. The human mind works best when it's locked onto a single aim. Imagine this. A magnifying glass under sunlight. Scatters the light? Nothing happens. But focus that beam, it ignites fire. Your life works the same way. Every time you jump from task to task, you dilute your power. But when you concentrate on one clear goal, you become unstoppable. One target. One decision. One result. The rule of 3 priorities. Here's a practical tool. Every night, before bed, ask 1. What is the single most important goal I must make progress on? 2. What are 3 key tasks I will complete tomorrow to move it forward? 3. What is one thing I must protect myself from to keep my focus strong? Write it. Don't guess in the morning. Wake up with clarity, not confusion. Your future isn't built by long to-do lists. It's built by finishing what matters most, daily. Your time is your power. Guard it ruthlessly. Let's talk about the most precious resource you'll ever have. Time. You can't buy it. You can't borrow it. Once it's gone, it's gone. So ask yourself, are you spending your hours or investing them? Hill said. You must form the habit of taking definite action at a definite time. That means having structure, not rigidity. Not military precision, but rhythm. Discipline. Intentionality. Time blocking. Deep work. Phone off. Notifications silenced. When you master time, you master momentum. Create your deep work window. Here's how high performers protect their focus. Choose a 90-minute window daily. No phone. No email. No interruptions. Just you, your goal, and relentless execution. This is called deep work, and it will transform your productivity. 1 hour of focused work is worth 5 hours of scattered motion. Do this 5 days a week, and within months, you'll outperform 90% of people still multitasking themselves into burnout. Protect the golden hours. Napoleon Hill believed in intentional mornings. Why? Because the first few hours of your day program your mind for the rest of it. If you wake up and grab your phone, scroll social media, react to drama, you've already lost the battle. But if you rise with structure, gratitude, vision, review, a clear task list, quiet focus, then you've already won, before the world even wakes up. Rewire your mind for single goal thinking. Here's the core of the Hill philosophy. A definite chief aim, not goals. A goal, one major purpose, one obsession, one mission. Yes, life is complex. Yes, you wear many hats. But your energy needs a North Star. When you align your habits, routines, and thoughts around a single purpose, you stop drifting. You begin to build. You begin to lead. You begin to live on purpose. Discipline plus focus equals freedom. Some think discipline restricts freedom. They're wrong. Discipline creates freedom. Why? Because when your day has structure, your mind has peace. And no more wondering what to do. No more drowning in decisions. You know what to do. And you do it. That's freedom. That's power. And it begins with saying, I will no longer be ruled by distraction. Final word. Attention is the new wealth. In today's world, attention is more valuable than gold. The person who can control their focus, can control their results, their emotions, their entire future. So the question is, where is your attention going? Are you spending your life watching others live, or building your own? Are you a consumer, or a creator? You were not made for scattered living. You were made for meaningful pursuit. So today, take your power back. Unplug from the noise. Choose one target. Sharpen your focus like a blade, and build a life that reflects the full force of your undivided energy. End of Part 5. Part 6 Preview. Discover the invisible force behind all achievement, belief. Learn how to activate the power of faith, expectation, and mental certainty to bring your dreams into reality. Would you like me to continue with Part 6 next? Part 6. Belief. The power behind it all, from the series Think It, Live It, The Napoleon Hill Way. Hook. The story of Evelyn James. Evelyn James wasn't born with wealth. She didn't have powerful connections. And she certainly didn't have confidence, at least not at first. What she did have was a dream. A small, quiet voice in her heart that whispered, You were made for more. But every time she tried to take a step, fear pulled her back. Who am I to start a business? What if I fail? What if people laugh? Then one day, she heard a quote that changed everything. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. It was as if someone lit a fire inside her soul. She didn't suddenly become fearless, but she became faithful. Faithful to the vision. Faithful to the process. 5 years later, Evelyn didn't just build a business, she built a life she once thought was impossible. Because she chose to believe. Belief is the foundation of all success. Everything you've heard in this series, every lesson, every story, every strategy, means nothing without belief. Belief is the switch, the ignition, the spiritual voltage that gives power to everything else. Napoleon Hill said, Faith is the head chemist of the mind. Without faith, you will question your path at every turn. With faith, you walk forward, even when the way isn't clear. Most people don't fail because of circumstance. They fail because of self-doubt. Think about it. How many dreams die not because of failure, but because someone gave up too soon? They had the talent. They had the tools. But they didn't have belief. Self-doubt crept in and whispered, "You're not ready. You're too late. You're not good enough." And they believed that voice. But here's the truth. That voice is not you. That voice is your conditioning, your fear, your past trying to protect you from growth. If you let that voice rule your life, you will shrink every time you're meant to rise. But if you replace doubt with belief, everything changes. Belief is a skill. Build it daily. Belief doesn't come all at once. It grows like a seed. You water it with daily action. You strengthen it with small wins. You reinforce it by keeping promises to yourself. It's not magic, it's muscle. Napoleon Hill taught that autosuggestion, daily affirmations, train the mind to believe. When you wake up and declare, "I was made for something great," your brain listens. When you write down your goals every morning, you're teaching your subconscious to expect success. That's not fantasy. That's mental conditioning. And it works. Act as if you already are who you want to be. Confidence isn't born in achievement. It's born in identity. The most powerful shift you can make is not, "I want to become successful." It's, "I am a person who succeeds." Even before the results show. Even before the money comes in. Even before the world claps. That's what belief looks like. It's walking like a winner before the trophies. It's speaking with authority before the audience. It's showing up like the leader before anyone recognizes it. You become it by believing it. Use the power of visualization. Close your eyes. Imagine the life you want in vivid detail. Where are you waking up? What work are you doing? Who's around you? How does it feel? Now hold that image like it's already real. Why? Because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. The more you visualize success, the more your mind searches for ways to create it. That's how belief rewires your thoughts, and how thoughts rewire your future. Surround yourself with belief builders. Let's be real. Belief is hard to maintain when you're surrounded by doubt. So protect your energy. Read inspiring books. Listen to empowering voices. Join communities where growth is the norm, not the exception. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind principle. Surrounding yourself with people who expand your thinking. Don't underestimate this. If you walk with those who believe in possibility, you start to believe in it too. Fear will always be there, but faith walks through it. Even with belief, you'll still feel fear. That's okay. Fear is part of the process, but faith is the courage to move forward anyway. And the more you do, the more belief replaces fear. Point 1. Decision. Point 1. Action. Point 1. When. That's how giants are built. Final message. Choose belief daily. At the end of this 6-part journey, you've learned 1. You become what you think about. Point 2. Discipline is the price of freedom. Point 3. Decision creates destiny. Point 4. Focus is your superpower. Point 5. Service multiplies success. Point 6. And belief is the power that makes it all come alive. But now comes the real test. Will you use it? Will you walk differently starting today? Will you silence the voice of doubt and step into the version of yourself you've been dreaming of? No more waiting. And no more wondering. It's your time. You already have the blueprint. Now build the life that was meant for you. Call to action. If this series moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful, soul-stirring content. Like this video to tell the algorithm this message matters. Share it with one person who needs this spark. And in the comments, declare your belief. Write, "I believe, and I begin today." Because belief isn't just a feeling, it's a decision. Let's rise together. Let's think it. Let's live it. Until next time, stay focused, stay faithful, and remember, the world steps aside for the person who knows where they're going. And now, that person is you.